1, 2, 3. Another uncut entry. We're doing a little, what do you call it? It's different vibe. Standing up today. And yeah, let's just reflect back what I did last week or the following up this week. What did I do? I worked on so I made the sample, right? The previous week, and it shrunk and all of that shit. And then obviously I added the hardware and everything. So I have it here. So basically, yeah, I added everything, boom, boom, boom. And then I realized that there's a lot of bits that I still need to figure out. And I wanted to embroider as well, but I couldn't because it shrunk, right? The fabric shrunk. And then it turns out when I double checked, because this week I started to make the prototype with the adjustments within it, and it turns out the back yoke, it's still not wide enough because I based it off this original sample from 2 years ago. So this was the very first denim jacket that I did. And obviously I've thrown this in the wash, and it didn't occur to me that this would have shrunk as well. So when I was like aligning it with the curved back yoke, it fit perfectly on this, because obviously this is the reference I was using. But then when I grabbed the actual graphic, the screen printing graphic that I have here, and I placed it on the prototype, I was like, fuck. It's still too small. Width-wise, it's still too small, so it's overlapping on the seam. So now I have like the patterns here that I still need to redraft. So this is like the correction for the back yoke. This is just a rough sketch. So now I need to draft this on some craft paper so that I have it at hand, like a corrected version instead of the old version. But yeah, so pretty much this week is about making the corrections. And then I also did up the version 2 prototype. So far what we have of the Pioneers of Greatness denim jacket is the original sample, which I did using a secondhand Levi denim jacket. And that was like 2 years ago. And obviously 2 years ago, I didn't know how to pattern cut. I knew how to sew, but very, very, very basic. I wouldn't have been able to do a denim jacket 2 years ago. At least I didn't have like a reason to, you know, because I just didn't have that drive. So then last month I did up the very first prototype for the Pioneers of Greatness denim jacket. Turned out pretty well, but I did mention on my last entry or a couple entries back that it burnt me out because it was my first time actually sewing a denim jacket pattern. And obviously it was complicated for me to figure out at the beginning. And there's a handful of mistakes on this that I obviously saw once I made the garment. Cookie, get out of there. Get down. Get down. You're not supposed to be there. Anyways, that's Cookie, man. She's being naughty. Well, yeah, I added like the corrections that I wanted to add. And obviously the, what do you call it? The snap buttons came along with the tool. And of course, I kind of went overboard when I added it onto this prototype. So it was like a little bit too much. But yeah, that was a month ago. Adding the snap buttons was just last week. Oh, was it last week? This week. And then, like I said, I focused on doing the adjustments, the mistakes, fixing the mistakes that I did. At least some of the mistakes that I did, because this still has some mistakes that the previous prototype had that I basically forgot to update. But other than that, I think this is the best prototype for the Pioneers of Greatness denim jacket that I've made so far, and this is like version 2. So all that is needed left to do is create another prototype and have all of the adjustments done up. And that includes like the cuff, slit. So the way I did it is just, it doesn't overlap, so it's just aligned with each other, but then you button it, right? And that part overlaps. So then it sort of distorts. It distorts how it sits, you see? It just crosses over. Whereas on the Levi denim jacket, on the original sample, it's been taken into account. You see? It's, instead of side by side parallel, it overlaps. The way they've done it, it overlaps naturally. Yeah, there's an overlap. So that I need to implement on the next prototype. And then for the next sample, I really need to get the weight of this denim at least close to this weight. Because what I realized is, it's not just the fit that I like about this sample, it's also the weight. And I only found out when I did the first sample of the POG denim jacket, and this is a 300 GSM denim fabric, and it's too light. Like, it doesn't have that weight to it. Like, when you wear the heavier one, at least for me, when I wear it, I'm like, yo, I feel good, you know? There's this, how do I best describe it? Like, there's like an authority to it. Like, when it has a good weight, it feels like, yo, this is a jacket. This is a proper denim jacket. And that's sort of what I realized. And I was like, damn. So even like the weight of the fabric actually affects sort of how it feels to wear the garment. And for me, when I wear this one, it just feels good. Feels real good. Along with like the cut, the crop fit, and the embroidery details at the back. Like I wear this a lot because it just feels good to wear. So I need to be able to replicate that feeling on the next sample. And because I actually sewed this, like I poorly sewed it actually. Let me think of it. Like when I cropped it, it's poorly sewn. Because obviously I did this 2 years ago. You can see. So it's very rough. Like I didn't even fold it in to have a clean sort of finish. So it's very rough. And I used my current sewing machine, I believe. Yeah. So then that means it can handle the weight of this denim fabric. Because my thought process was it won't be able to penetrate through the overlaps. But then I just realized this has more overlaps than the actual seams here. So then I was like, yo, okay, cool. Next time I go to the textile warehouse, I'm gonna bring this with me and make sure I can find a denim fabric that's almost the same weight and also have this very similar color. Because it's not just the weight, it's also the color of the fabric that I really love. And obviously I bleach dyed this too to give like this lightness and imperfection look to it. Because back then it was just all of it was just a deep indigo blue. But then I actually had this jacket way back, maybe 10 years ago. Same one, a Levi denim trucker jacket, and it just had this beautiful like bleach effect. It was more intense than what I tried to replicate here, to do here. But it looked like clouds on the denim jacket. And ever since, I wish I didn't sell it, man, because that was such a good reference for that type of like wash or finish. But yeah, no, there's a lot of factors that makes me like a certain clothing. And it's just like, you only realize that when you try to replicate like this and create a sample. So this just doesn't have the same feel. I mean, it has all the design features that I originally wanted this one to have, but the material just doesn't translate as well as I'd like it to. Even like when I dyed it, like the blue isn't even the same, and I thought it would. Hey, Warrior, it's not a toy. But yeah, that's just, yeah, it's like you just learn on the go really with this shit. Should I put this on? Because this is, fit wise, I think this is it. And the proportion of it is definitely it. And the details with the pearl snap button, I think it's banging. So actually I might end up making 2 versions of this. So like a lightweight, so shirt, button-up shirt version, and then have the actual heavyweight denim, like the very first sample, and have just those 2 silhouette. Hey, it's not a toy. But yeah, I have functional pockets now. I forgot to mention, because on the sample or the previous prototype, I didn't add functional front pockets because I didn't know how to do it. Because obviously it's my first time, so I just wanted to see how the pocket placement would look like. But then obviously the Levi denim jacket is my reference, so I just copied how the pocket construction is and just did the same thing for this, you know. And I think that's one of the best ways to learn, really. You copy. I mean, that's how I learned how to draw, you know. I would copy from a book, from something, from whatever I see in front of me, and then replicate that until to the point where I've developed my skill enough so that I could just draw whatever it is that is in my mind. But then actually most of the time I always use a reference when I draw. But yeah, same principle applies with creating garments from scratch. And since this is all new to me, sewing a denim jacket, it's always good to copy first, and then from there you could start develop your own design language, which I am slowly doing bit by bit for each prototype. And I'm also learning more about the denim jacket, you know, like why the denim jacket is constructed the way it is, and how certain features have been sort of the design language that makes a denim jacket. And I didn't even know that denim jackets, there's many variations. I think there's like 3 types or even 4. And then it's just how the denim jacket sort of evolved throughout hundreds of years. But yeah, and then obviously now it's me sort of playing around, tweaking what I can add onto my version of a denim jacket. So for this example, I removed the waistband. Yeah, I removed it, I cropped it. So now my denim jackets don't have it. I don't know, I feel like I just like that minimalistic look to it without the waistband feature. And then curved the V seam at the front on this side, because originally the whole adding curves or arches, that just tailors to, it's like a nod to the logo, the brand slogan. It's arched, and that has origins to boxing. Like when fighters go into the ring, they wear the robes and they come in with their names on the back, and it's all arched. And it also follows the back, you know, the contour of the back, because our back is not flat. It has an arch to it. So then I wanted to follow the contour of the body. That's why I've, you know, designed it that way and added curved features onto my denim jacket. And I think that will be like the design language for Pioneers of Greatness moving forward. I mean, I did a challenge, a 365-day challenge back in 2023. And that's where I sort of just drew hella looks, 365 looks. And I developed sort of a design language through doing that exercise, that year-long exercise, and the features that sort of, how do you say it, kept reoccurring was like cropped look, dagger colors. This isn't everything, so it doesn't show like the curve detailings. But yeah, no, I tried to implement the curve detailings. because the original logo that I had back in the day, you know, that far back. So I had this, right? This is the greatness graphic from the very first sort of product or tee that I released, and this was for GALANACCI, and the K2G emblem, or the letter T in greatness, was the brand's logo, and you see how it has the curves and all of that. I tried to implement that into the design language of the garments now that I've developed and started Pioneers of Greatness. So a lot of the design language originates from my time building GALANACCI. And GALANACCI was supposed to be this, you know, luxury human wear brand where it would be the thing that I sort of use as a platform, a canvas to do like high-end fashion design type shit. But when I really sort of questioned what I wanted to do, I was like, I'm not really into fashion like that. I'm into boxing. So then I was like, I started GALANACCI with like the soul and philosophy of boxing merged into it, you know? And I wanted to carry that energy to it, into the garments. That's when I was like, yeah, okay, I think it would make sense for me to actually build a brand that's not solely just fashion, you know, but but is rooted in boxing. And that's why I decided to turn the slogan of GALANACCI, which was Pioneers of Greatness, into a brand that merges boxing and fashion, and having boxing at its main core. And of course, I'm still into fashion in a way where I've built my taste over the years that I've been alive, and the wardrobe that I have. And it's those pieces that I want to push out, really. And most of those pieces are from what I saw boxers wear from the 70s or 90s, you know. Well, I'm into hip hop, so like, you know, the leather jackets, the oversized look, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's just like amalgamate. I can't even pronounce the word. It's basically like I'm stirring a pot, you know. It's a hot pot for all my interests, but mainly boxing. But yeah, I think I'm going off on a tangent. But yeah, we're slowly building the brand identity. You know, I don't need to have everything figured out for this brand. I know the core of it. I know the message, the purpose behind it. And honestly, I think we're getting there slowly. And I like where we're going, man. Like, this is dope. This took me 2 years to be able to come to this. Actually, not even 2 years. Like, I've always had this sort of thought in the back of my head, be able to sew properly for many years now. Maybe even before I started uni, and that's like almost 10 years. So yeah, it took me almost a decade to arrive to being able to, you know, have the discipline to, you know, just sit down and push through it. Because it's hard to make a garment, man. Holy shit. I think with the whole fast fashion stuff, I think people got it all like confused that creating clothing is easy, and that, you know, you could just let a machine do it. Nah, man, these are hand hand sewn. I don't think we're at that point where we've designed machines that can sew all the garments by itself. You know, there's always someone hand sewing some part of the garment, and if not a good percent, like 90% of a garment is sewn by hand. And me going through the whole motion of sewing a garment from scratch, not just the sewing part, but pattern making, pattern drafting, and everything in between. Like, bro, this shit takes long, you know? Like, even a t-shirt, that takes a while to pattern draft and make sure, you know, you got the right sort of curvature on the armhole and everything. Yeah, man. Shit. Like, clothes should be priced a lot more than what we're used to. At least with, like, you know, high street brands and whatnot. Because it literally is art. When you go through the whole process of creating a garment, you're gonna be like, yeah, this is a whole ass craft. Like, this shit ain't easy to do. I mean, I make it look easy because I pick up things quite quick. Way too quick, actually. But nah, this shit is hard. Hard to do. But very rewarding once you push through. So I'm happy with the outcome of the prototype number 2 or version 2. I think the next steps would be having all the adjustments, corrections made, so that when I make the sample, then boom, that's that. I could then say, okay, that's how the garment will be for the Pioneers of Greatness denim jacket. Now it's ready to be, put out as a made to order. And then I would have to do the same for the neck, for like the sleeveless tee, the knitwear, and whatever. I guess I'm just starting with the hardest to make sure I get it right, so that then I could just move on to the other products that I'll be dropping, and I'll be able to go through it quite fairly quick because I started off with the hardest one. But yeah, I'm excited to start pushing like the made to order bits, having a Shopify open, a store open, and allowing people to, purchase a garment. But yeah, there's still a couple bits I need to sort out. Like, I need to pattern grade this shit. And pattern grading costs money. And pattern grading just means I give it to a studio where they will take the measure. They'll grab the measurements and then they'll enlarge it or make it smaller depending on what sizes I want to put out for the garments. Because currently this is like a medium/small. So then I would need to be able to have like extra small, medium, large. Maybe we'll go all the way to extra large. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Hopefully early 2026, I'll be able to, have it fully ready for made to order for people to, purchase. And then I would have to, go through the whole cycle of making the product, packing the product, and then sending it off, and then seeing how the clients like it and whatnot, and then having that feedback loop again. But I'm excited. I think I'll wrap that up. It's been 30 minutes. So I'm out. Peace.